You know who made it.
And we are live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and more. It's Revening's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday, Revenue Party people. We've got our hot topics, hot prizes, and hot guests. So let's get into it tonight. Please, if you're here in the comments, let us know by just saying something. Like I see a few of you trickling in slowly on some of the channels. Where are you tuning in from? Are you in Ohio? Because that's where I am. Let us know where you are. And keep us honest throughout the conversation tonight, because we want to hear from you. But this whole conversation is for you, the audience. So if you know me, you know that I'm always posting my AI headshots. So if you're wondering where I'm getting those, it's from Secta AI. So just go to secta.ai/Jessie to use my affiliate link and get 20% off your AI images. That's literally, I tried a whole bunch of them. That was the best I found. But also I'm recording tonight on StreamYard, and this is what we coach on Wednesdays in the Taking Up Space program, is how to use StreamYard to go live and how to have the confidence to do that. But also you'll see throughout the show, we're doing a lot of really fun things with the designs and the camera angles, and you can do that too. And we'd love to help you either do it or do it for you. So keep us honest here in our conversation. Like I said, if I'm overselling, just let me know, but I can talk about streaming all day long. I can also talk about our sponsors all day long, because before both of them were sponsors, I worked with them. So High Level is my everything tool. I use it for email, my CRM, everything. Just go to reveting.com/high level and you can check it out. And you'll also get a 30-day free trial if you go to my affiliate link. So that's an extended free trial compared to if you sign up, but I'd love to also help you sign up and use it as your CRM. So why I like this is because when I went from being a CMO and having access to all these big SaaS tools, I was working for myself and I'm like, I can't afford that anymore. But High Level is so robust, and it's literally only $97 a month. And not only that, I can create multiple accounts for other users as well. For $97 a month, you get 3 accounts. So if you're a marketing agency like me, that's awesome, because then you come equipped with your clients with technology to help them as well. So thank you, High Level, and thank you to Cherry Assistant. They help put together everything tonight. Sabrina, I know you're here. I know you worked hard on putting all of these materials together. So thank you for all of your help. And Cherry Assistant, DJ Kim, you guys are doing some really awesome work aligning people with virtual assistants, and just helping them do more of what matters, whether it's just like taking a bath and relaxing more, or actually being able to focus on the revenue side of your business. Cherry Assistant helps with all sorts of things. You'll see in the ad in the intermission what I'm talking about, because there's a menu of all the different services they offer. Also, you can enter to win 10 free hours with a virtual assistant by just putting Cherry Assistant in the comments. You can tag them, that would be awesome. But just writing Cherry Assistant in the comments will get you to enter to win the comments. So thank you, Becky Brown, for joining. Glad to have you. I see you in the comments. I see a bunch of LinkedIn users here in the comments. Erica Stover, glad to have you. So if you're appearing as LinkedIn user, it means we're not getting your data from LinkedIn. You have your privacy settings on LinkedIn set so tight that data is not getting over to StreamYard. So in the intro video, if you want to go back, I did have a page where I put the steps on how to change those privacy settings, because you can't enter to win prizes if you're showing up as LinkedIn user, unfortunately. But let's get into the event. So tonight, if you're entering to win prizes, High Level is going to get you a swag pack. Put High Level in the comments to get that swag pack. Cherry Assistant, 10 hours virtual assistant service. So just put Cherry Assistant in the comments to enter to win. We'll give these away at the end of the night. Hashtag headset. We'll get you a wireless headset from Headset Advisor. This is a professional one. Thank you so much to Headset Advisor for sharing a wireless headset every week. And then Lavender. If you haven't heard of Lavender, you must have been living under a bush, because they took over social media, and they have a really cool AI tool to help you make your emails more efficient and concise, and it'll even help with the tone of it. So just check it out by entering to win 1 year free of their pro plan. And then also, don't want to forget, we've got prize 5 is 1 month of my program, and prize 6 are the gifts from the guests who you're going to meet here in just a minute. So we've got the social media branding package. This is coming to you hot from Sofia. I'm going to let her explain that here in just a moment. And then Jennifer gave 30 minutes of small business consulting. So I am so grateful when people give away prizes. So super glad for them. And if you're here, make sure that you're honoring these small business owners and you're entering to win prizes from them. But let me bring them in. Welcome to the show to Sofia and Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Finally, it's showtime. I'm so glad to meet you. I feel like we've been talking about this episode for a while. I think I got it confused a while back, and I was like, oh, it's tonight. And it's like, no, that's just me traveling and getting confused. But it's actually tonight, August 14th. So let's get into it. And the guests always want to learn, or the audience always wants to learn from you. Like, who are you? And we want to know your full life story. So the drill is, we want to know everything from birth to what brought you to now. But if you could keep it concise in 2 minutes, that would be ideal. Sophia, could you kick us off with your full life story?
All right, let's do it. So I grew up in the Silicon Valley in California. I ended up going to UCLA for college, and there I started modeling to pay for school. And I actually didn't realize that I was stepping into a masterclass in personal branding, or that it was eventually going to lead me to what I do now as the founder of WakaGrowth. So we do social media marketing for visionary leaders. So as I was modeling in college, I was learning a lot about how to brand myself. What's my image? What are my values? What do I stand for? What am I going to work for? And when I graduated, I actually went to go work for tech companies doing business development. So that was marketing and sales and doing social media for companies, and also working with different influencers on different marketing campaigns to push and drive revenue. Then I got the opportunity in my mid-20s to go on Asia's Next Top Model, which was wild. And that was right when Instagram was taking off, so 2012. And then my work became also part of social media. So as a model, you have to put your portfolio out there. So I wasn't expecting that either. And then I ended up coming back into business and tech and working for tech companies again, and realizing that actually a lot of these companies were missing out on 50%, if not more, of their opportunities because they weren't utilizing personal branding in their sales and marketing process. And that's just blowing up today. So it's been kind of a wild journey, but definitely through my whole life, if I look back on what the greatest investment was that I ever made, it was my personal brand. And I didn't even know that that was something I was starting to build already at 18 years old. So that was a really interesting way for me to go and see how it actually followed me through different industries, taking me from fashion to tech, even to business and entrepreneurship, and all the opportunities that it's brought me. So I'll definitely be touching more on that today in our talk.
Well, you did it. You did it in under 2 minutes with still 30 seconds remaining. So thank you for getting through that. And wow, what an incredible experience it must have been to be on Asia's Next Top Model.
It was a wild experience. Absolutely. Nothing can prepare you for that. And I certainly have wild stories from it as well. Yeah.
I bet. Like if you could just maybe in like 30 seconds, share us like what's the one memory that stands out to you from that whole experience?
Oh, wow. I'd say actually how contrived it actually is on the back end, which I think I don't want to blow anyone's bubble here, but I think it's, at the end of the day, it's a TV show. So they're looking to try to get you to be psychologically kind of out of it or like kind of in your worst state, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit of torture in the background. So I think though what came out of that was really how much I learned about myself and my own resilience to go through something kind of that crazy. Yeah, and that whole experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. How interesting. Jennifer, could you do the same? I'm going to put up the clock and we want to hear your full life story from birth to what brought you to now.
Oh my goodness. Well, it all started out in central Minnesota on a small dairy farm, second oldest of 6 siblings. I was the second oldest. And I actually went through high school and decided that I wanted to get into beauty pageants, and I became a Miss Petite Minnesota. And much like Sofia, I ended up in the modeling and acting realm of things. And then I decided, I got married and I decided, this wedding planning thing, this is pretty easy. I think I can do this. So I got certified in wedding and event planning, started doing that, did that for 12, 13 years, and then ended up moving to Florida, where I am now in a position of owning a company that has always been my passion, and that is the resale and consignment industry. Growing up, my family didn't have a lot of money. And I have fond memories of going garage sailing every Saturday with my grandma. And then, that would be the only new clothes that we got. So starting True Fashionistas, which is now the largest lifestyle resale store in Florida, kind of was paying homage to my grandma. It was something that I remembered fondly growing up. And so I do that now. I am the founder and the CEO of True Fashionistas. And then over the last couple of years, I have really harnessed everything that I have learned as an entrepreneur. And now I'm teaching other entrepreneurs and working with other small businesses and other entrepreneurs how they can grow and scale their businesses on everything from mindset to marketing and everything in between. And then I also do motivational and professional speaking on top of that as well, along with my podcast. So I have a very diverse background in a lot of different things, and my goal is just to help other entrepreneurs.
That is incredible. You both have such incredible stories, and I didn't realize there was the wedding event planner time, and that was 13 years. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. And I had the same thing. I sold wedding dresses for a little while after getting married. I had
because we think it's fun, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I love all this pretty stuff.
Right. Something about the wedding industry just totally sucks you in.
It's mesmerizing.
Yeah, exactly. So anyone else here in the audience ever worked in the wedding industry? We'd love to hear from you on that one, or modeled for that matter. But today we're going to talk a lot about personal branding. So let's just get right into our first topic. Sophia, could you kick us off on it, which is personal branding for leaders and how it's critical yet overlooked?
Yes. Wow. Well, personal brand is a topic that is just blowing up everywhere. Google search volume for personal brand has grown over 4 times in recent years. So it's becoming a really critical component to how consumers are making purchasing decisions, but also how professionals are using this as a portfolio for themselves and also to build trust with their communities. And it really, again, unlocks unlimited opportunities. So, I mean, gosh, I guess I'll just spit out some stats to start just to show kind of how powerful that is right now. So personal branding is really the future. It's, again, highly profitable. It's a trust accelerator. Studies have found that 82% of people trust a company more when its senior executives are on social media. 84% of consumers believe that a company's reputation is influenced by a personal brand of its employees. And 70% of hiring managers say that a strong personal brand is more important than a strong resume. And this isn't just for entrepreneurs and for people who are professional, it also increases your sales. So if you go to WakaGrowth.com, you can actually see a lot of these stats on there that we put. But sales reps who use social media in their sales process outperform 78% of their peers. And leads generated by employees through social media activities are 7 times more likely to convert than other leads. So if you're in sales, which for me, I have that background in business development and sales, these numbers are massive. So if we're not utilizing a personal brand, like I mentioned, you're not even just missing out 50% of your opportunities. It's probably looking more like 80%. I'm actually having a lot of these conversations now, even through my own LinkedIn, with a lot of other entrepreneurs. I got a message just yesterday, someone saying we get 80% of our sales and revenue through LinkedIn. And that's another thing I just wanted to touch on is just how important LinkedIn is actually becoming. They say LinkedIn 2024 is like Instagram 2012, which is interesting because that's exactly when I got onto Instagram. At the time, I went on Asian Next Top Model in 2012. So I did see how if you're an early adopter of a social platform, you've created your personal brand and you're on there, it is so much easier to position yourself as a thought leader or to get recognized if you're taking advantage of that time. So that time is really now. And it's at the end of the day, it's also a machine. So that's something that people forget, that LinkedIn, Instagram, these are machine learning platforms. They're now integrated with AI. So if you learn how to utilize these machines to your advantage, you know how to position your personal brand the right way, but also how to trigger the algorithms, then it's going to be this machine that's basically networking on your behalf 24/7, all day, all night, working for you and just bringing in inbound opportunities. And it's actually really hard to even measure the type of opportunities that you get. So even with our customers, sure, we can measure, you know, how many sales they're getting or how many clients they're getting, but opportunities like public speaking opportunities, to be on webinars like this or podcasts, to be asked to be quoted from publications. It's just, you can't really measure it because it all connects together. But that's really that power of influence. And whoever's not on it right now is really missing out. So I'll say that as like an intro aspect to open the conversation.
Absolutely. It's so true. Man, I wish I would have been like business posting on like TikTok, Instagram, like when they first came out. Like, can we talk about like YouTube has 2 billion viewers a day? Like at this point, I think LinkedIn last year was it, or maybe, I mean, how much are they? They're at like 1 billion now. So they are still climbing. It isn't still a newer platform, but like you still shouldn't ignore all the other ones. I'm a big proponent, especially now, of omni-channel marketing and building it that way. So I'm curious, what's your take on all of this, Jennifer? Did you have any thoughts that came up as she was talking?
Well, yes, actually, one thing really hit a note with me, and that it's ultimately people buy from people.
Yeah.
And that's why sales increase when you're doing personal branding. And I can remember a couple of years ago when, you know, I had my brand and I was trying to break into my own personal brand, and it wasn't pretty. It was really messy because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to navigate this. I felt like, I don't know, should I? Because then it's devaluing my brand, but it wasn't. But people get stuff like that in their head when they're doing it, and they get like analysis paralysis almost, where they're listening to too many people. And at the end of the day, it all goes down to the premise that people buy from people. So absolutely, you need to have your personal brand. It is so critical, so important that you do that.
Yeah. It's amazing that both of you have done this and you've like taken it on and you've made it a whole thing. Like anything that you would wrap up this topic, like personal branding for leaders specifically, that you might share before I change topics here, Sophia?
One thing I always like to touch on with leaders, especially that I work with, I think it can be really intimidating to start personal branding, especially in the beginning. You have to post daily, again, to trigger the algorithms. You have to put yourself out there. But what I think is amazing about it is it actually teaches you so much more about yourself. I feel like it's a journey of self-development as well, because you even have to start understanding what are your values, what do you represent, what are you going to say yes or no to. And then you also have to deal eventually, if your profile grows high enough, your influence grows high enough, you have to deal with people who don't like you for who you are. So you have to also continue to learn to become more confident. And so I'd say that for leaders as well, because I think it's an amazing opportunity for your own growth, but to also get to know yourself better. And then when you put yourself out there as this personal brand, standing in your authentic self, you really start magnetizing all the right opportunities and people to you and to your business. I'd say that to leaders.
I love that. Magnet
makes you better.
Yeah. And that's what personal branding really does. It makes you a magnet. So I guess keeping the personal branding theme going, could you talk to us now on our second topic, Jennifer, of aligning personal branding with sales and marketing?
Yes. So I actually have 5 really key elements here that I feel are really important. And the first one is important no matter whether you're doing personal branding or you're doing branding for a company: consistency. You have to have the same brand voice and image, whether you're online, whether you're talking to a customer face to face, whether you are on social media. Consistency is extremely important, as is, the frequency that you post or the frequency that you do things. It all needs to be consistent. So that's my first kind of pillar of branding with sales and marketing. And the second is making sure that you're aligning your message with your target audience. So many times people kind of miss the mark on this because they're not in the space where their customers are. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're targeting a mom. A mom is your ideal customer. You're not on those Facebook groups that the mom's on, or you're not on Instagram where that mom is. So you don't know what that mom ICA or ideal customer avatar is really talking, what words they're actually using. And that's really important. It's important that you know what language they're using so that you know how you're going to market to them and work with them and how that aligns with your personal brand. Mm-hmm. The third is storytelling. Storytelling is so important because it creates that connection, that emotional connection. It makes your brand memorable. People will remember, not necessarily, what color your logo was or anything like that, but they'll remember, one specific thing that stands out in a story that you told because it resonated with them. It was something that they really, really remembered. People will always remember a good story. My fourth pillar is leveraging your social proof. What I mean by that is your customers who are out there talking about you, the testimonials, that social proof that, these people are in the space. I love them. I love their messaging and you leveraging that as your personal brand. Use that as the mouthpiece to tell everybody, hey, this is what we're about. And number 5 is visual identity. And usually when I talk a lot about branding, it's more about brand voice. And it's not all about the things that you would normally think of when you're talking about branding, which when you say branding, people, what do they automatically think? They think your logo, they think your colors, that kind of thing. And that is what I'm talking about here, more so than the voice. I'm talking about what colors do you use in your logo? Are they friendly? Are they fun? Are they vibrant? Do they match with your personal brand? What's your personal brand about? What's the value of your personal brand? Think about the Geico gecko, right? You wouldn't think of Geico without the gecko. You put the two together, anytime you see a gecko, you think of Geico. And I just see green on the screen now. It's reminding me of that, or State Farm, or even Target with their khaki pants and their red shirt. Anytime I see khaki and red together, I automatically think Target. So making sure that that's a priority also in your personal branding. So I think those 5 pillars are really what will help you with the branding of your business. And that ties over into sales and marketing, and it all works really well together.
That was really good. And you did a really great job with all the green.
I'm like, oh, the green gecko. It was
that made me laugh. Yes, it was very timely, but unplanned. Great points. I love what you said, especially about storytelling, because you're so right. People connect with stories. We always have, like, since the beginning of time. There have been like paintings on walls. Like, we tell stories and we pass it down. That's why so many people are affiliated with religions, just because of stories. So I digress. But Sophia, what stood out to you with all of that?
Yeah, I love that. Totally agree with Jennifer in terms of storytelling being so important now. I think stats show you want, well, one, storytelling to be part of it, but also mixed in with educational content. So about 10 to 20% should be you sharing your own stories so people buy into you, get to know you. And I just add to that in terms of the sales and marketing aspect. One thing a lot of people miss out on early on with their personal brand is not starting to develop an email list. So even working in sales and business development, that's one of the first things that's really powerful to have in sales is an email list. And so you want to start either a newsletter or some kind of community so that you can start getting your people to come into either a website, somehow inputting their information and buying into your community that you can communicate to. That's why a free newsletter is a great way to start. And because that holds value. And now that those people are kind of your VIP community or followers. And then from that number, you can actually start calculating what kind of sales you could get. So say if you have 100 newsletter subscribers, typically 1 to 5% of these people are going to purchase. So that's when you start building up your brand and you can actually start seeing your numbers and start projecting out your sales. Hey, if I put this project out or I sold this product, typically 1 to 5%, depending on your loyalty following, is going to buy. And so that really helps you as an entrepreneur, even just a digital entrepreneur, to start building out ways to create revenue for yourself through your personal branding.
It's a great point. And as you were speaking about building a newsletter list or just a marketing list, I was like putting up the marketing newsletter overlay. So it wasn't even planned, I promise. But yeah, if you are watching, I have been really relying on my newsletter lately, and there's almost 2,000 subscribers there now. Every week, I recap what the conversation is about in the newsletter and also tell you what to expect, keep you aware of what I'm doing with my business and other things. But I'd also just love to know like what you would want to know in the newsletter. So head over to my website, subscribe to the newsletter. But on that note, we still have 2 more really good topics. So we've got community building through events and marketing. And then we're going to end with building reputation, a published book's influence. But before we go to those, we have a few brief messages from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Check these emails. Wait, I need to write the script. Oh my god, I forgot to schedule all my content last week.
I know the chaos of running a one-person business can feel too much sometimes. Cherry Assistant has become my secret weapon to success. Having an actual niche assistant has been so game-changing. But since bringing on one of their virtual assistants, they have been handling all my nitty-gritty tasks, from DMing people on my socials to following up with leads, even doing the cold outreach for me. Plus to help with all the tedious admin tasks like managing emails, scheduling appointments, reminding me of appointments. Just imagine the time that you're going to have when you have an actual niche virtual assistant helping you with all these things. So with Cherry Assistant, you're never going to have to worry about the little things again. You don't want to call with them. That way they can actually gauge your business needs and they're going to help you fill the gaps. You go to cherrysystem.com, you can get on a call with one of them and they're going to help you find your person. Now you can actually finally free up some time to focus on building your empire.
is I want to show you how to do a voicemail drop. And voicemail drops can be really creative ways to reach your audience. And, many of us are spending a lot of time on the phone making calls, but hey, I'm here over in marketing to report that you can do a mass voicemail drop. And let me show you how. Let me log into my account here, Reviting. The hard part about any campaign is knowing your audience and knowing what you're going to say to them. Yeah, definitely check out Lead Magic if you haven't already. So what I love about Lead Magic is their lead scraper. You can see that right here. Also, another thing are the technographics. Then import that into High Level. So High Level for me, it's white labeled. It's app.reviting.com. So when you go in here, you're going to want to, you can get your contacts in here however you want, with the ones that you want to do the voicemail drop with. Once you know who you're sending your voicemail drop to, create a new workflow from scratch. And you can add in your trigger, which would be the tag that you add. For me, and for this example, I'll go ahead and say tag added, and it will be anyone who downloads my free LinkedIn 5-day challenge workbook that's on my LinkedIn page. And if you get that, we'll go ahead and wait just for a minute, save action, and then we're going to do voicemail. All right, so now I need to get a voicemail and I need an audio file. And luckily I have this just like free online tool. You can go to 123apps or online-voice-recorder.com. You can see it on the screen. And I am just going to record a voicemail. Hey, it's Jessie Lezak. Wanted to follow up with you about the 5-day challenge workbook and course that you downloaded and see what you thought of it, if you've had a chance to complete it, and how I can support you on your journey to LinkedIn growth. Give me a call back anytime. My cell phone number is 510-335-9355. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. We'll move this in a little bit. Move that in just a tad. Save. Open so I can't see. So here is my recording. There it is. It's loading. Hey, it's Jessie Lezak. Wanted to follow up with you about the 5-day challenge workbook and course that you did. And that's how people will get into the voicemail drop. And I think you should try a voicemail drop too. And if you would like some support on that, I would love to help you. Just give me a call. You already heard my number in the recording, 510-335-9355, or you can email me at Jessie, just my first name, JESSIE @reviting.com. That's REVETING.com. Hope to help you with your voicemail drop here soon. Big thank you to High Level. Oh, look, we lost you there for a second, Sophia. We have you back now. But big thanks to High Level. And if you didn't see the menu of all the services Cherry Assistant provides, you should definitely check it out and just enter to win 10 free hours with a virtual assistant, because why not? Or you can also enter to win all the other prizes I've been showing on the screen throughout the show. So if you're here tuning in live, you're lucky. There are really good odds tonight. It's back to school season, so there's not a lot of people apparently scrolling on their phones right now. But we have one entry on High Level that actually registered. I know I saw a couple others. I don't know why they didn't register. So if you wanted to enter to win, you're still here, put High Level into the chat. And then you can enter to win Cherry Assistant for the 10 hours virtual assistant services. And hashtag revenue. Who's going to put in hashtag revenue to win the prize from our guests? So let's pause there. Could you both please share a little bit about the prize you're giving away? So if people put hashtag revenue into the chat, what are they entering to win? We'll start with you, Sophia.
Yes. Well, one shout out to Michelle. I see you commenting in there, mentioning us. So thank you. Hello. And yes, my prize is actually a ticket to my first WakaGrowth Summit. So it's going to be live, digital, in 3D metaverse land. It's called Agora World. But so we're going to have some amazing entrepreneurs on there that I really respect and all sorts of different topics so people can learn how to become their own entrepreneur or free themselves from the system. So I'm giving away, I think originally 1 ticket, but I don't know if I can change it now, but I would love to give out at least 10 to people who are on here today. So I don't know if that makes it more complicated, but we could do 1 and I can come back and gift it to people who are watching live. And then my other prize is just 20% off any of our packages. So if anyone's interested in personal branding or social media, you're welcome to book a time. Just mention the podcast and we'll make sure you're taken care of.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that prize. And then how about yours, Jennifer?
Yes, I am giving away a half-hour business consulting session or coaching session. And I work with small businesses to help them grow their business, whether it's processes or it's help with marketing or it's help with mindset or branding. I have walked in your shoes. So I feel all the feels, I've felt all the feels, and I can help you. And then I would also love to be able to throw in my book as well. My book is Grace and Grit, Becoming a Confident Entrepreneur. And I will just throw that in as part of the consulting as well.
That's incredible. Well, thank you both again for sharing a prize. So Michelle, we appreciate you being so active in here. I think it's you. I see 1 entry on high level. So maybe it's yours. If not, maybe try it without the @ sign, because we put the @ sign there just so you'll tag high level. So it really should just appear as high level. I know the hashtags are a lot easier, but I digress. Let's get into our third topic. So our third topic is community building. And doing this through events like we're doing right now. This is a live event, but you can also do them in person. I just hosted a retreat, which was awesome. And marketing. So you can build a community through marketing. And I have the Women Wave WhatsApp. It's a free WhatsApp community. If anyone wants to join, we're always just like building each other up. It's mostly women in sales, marketing, and entrepreneurship, but would love to have you in the WhatsApp group. Just send me an email to Jessie, JESSIE @reveting.com if you want to join, or just message Sabrina. She should be here in the comments. She can help get you in as well. But I don't know. Could you kick us off on community building, Sofia?
Yes, absolutely. And I definitely want to be part of that WhatsApp group. So I will email later. But yeah, community building is really, I think, the most important aspect of personal branding, because you can build your personal brand all you want and you could be creating content, posting it every single day and shooting it out in the dark. But if you're not building your community consciously, that's really going to be effort wasted. And I see this a lot with my clients that do come to me where, they might have a decent following, but they get no likes or no comments, or they'll get a lot of signups for their webinar, but not a lot of people show up. And so that's really that lack of building your community to a point that they're really loyal to you and trust you. And so I love to always say it's the more you give, the more you get. And that's a mantra for me in life. And so I think that really applies the same to community building, especially on social media, where the more that you're commenting back to people, the more you're interacting with them in your inbox, the more you go to other creators and you give them a like and you comment on their posts and you give valuable conversations to the whole media sphere, the more that's going to come back to you. And a lot of people forget that because it is a lot of work, but it's really important to stay in touch with your community. And then, like you mentioned, you can leverage that for so many things, like in-person events. For example, my virtual summit that's coming up, and any kind of community you want to build, whether that's a membership community. But always, it's just so important to keep your community in mind, because personal branding can definitely be such a, all about you kind of a thing, right? It's personal branding at the end of the day. But we can't forget about who we're doing that for and for the community that we're doing it for too. And just making sure that we're creating valuable things for them, things that will be fun to meet up. And I personally love it. It helps you become more creative. I really enjoyed putting this summit together, listening to my community, and so many of them reach out to me for so much advice. And a lot of times I don't have advice in a certain area. So it gave me this idea to bring together a bunch of entrepreneurs that people can join and learn from. So it's just so important, again, to build your community. And that's the number one way that you're going to get organic marketing. and organic sales to you. So just don't forget to be participating and commenting and adding value through your personal branding.
Absolutely. It's such a good point. And I'll just share, I've been restricted on my personal LinkedIn page. They're saying I had a high number of profile views. And I know people automate that. That is literally something I've never automated. So I'm still sorting through that with their support team, but it is just like opened up my eyes to the importance of having a community. My WhatsApp community has been how I can communicate with people in a like, and with my audience, because there's like 160 women in there now. So it's still a place I can share my links. And I have my newsletter and omni-channel marketing, but having a community, it is really awesome. I know there are some people who like are into this whole notion of having community without community right now, because community can be on Discord or Slack or all these places, and it becomes a lot to manage. And so I'm curious what people in the comments think about all of that, and also your take on it too here in just a minute too, Sophia, like the anti-community movement. But like, what's your take on communities, Jennifer?
I think it's really important. I mean, that's how I have always grown my business, is with my community. There's two ways you can look at it. You grow a community because of your business, and you grow your business because of your community that you're in and that you're fostering and everything. So there's two but one, if that makes sense. There's the community that you create around your business, and there's the community that your business lives in. And I really believe that you really do get what you give, because, the whole 80-20 rule, give people 80%, value, and then talk about yourself another 20%. I think that's a really good rule to follow, because you want to make sure that whether it is the community that you created around your brand or the community that your business is in, that you provide value to them, however that looks to your brand.
Yeah, that's a really good point, is just providing as much value as you can. I was listening to Alex Hormozi's book, The $1 Million Offer, as I was traveling just last week. And he talks a lot about that, just like making sure that you have a lot of value in your offer. Of course, and you mentioned audience earlier, making sure you have your audience niched and you can make a message that's crafted perfectly for them. But I digress. I'm curious of your take, Sophia, on the whole notion of like community. You should have community without community right now, because it becomes too much to manage.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually asked a quote about this the other day about the de-influencing movement. And I think it's kind of linked to that, where people are now starting to trust big creators less. And so they're not wanting to be parts of these big communities anymore. And I think it's a good lesson. It's actually a similar trend to what companies do. So they start out small, and as they're a small business, their community really trusts them, is loyal to them. And then as they become really big and corporate, they might start losing some of those values or some of that trust. And so I think we're just seeing that same thing happen on that personal branding level. As you rise, you kind of become your own company, a bit like Jennifer was saying. A lot of it's like linked together. And so I think, it's certainly something you have to be aware of when you step into this space. And then it's a lot of work. And I know that from having done social media myself, modeling, to now then having to figure out how can I get it done for me in a way. So I think when you get bigger, though, you can kind of hand that off and have help building your community. But it's definitely really tough in the beginning. So you want to keep it centralized and choose one platform that you're really building them. So that's why, again, a free newsletter is sometimes one of the easiest, quickest ways to do it, where you don't have to manage a community, but you're still getting your loyal followers from your social media platforms into one space until you're kind of ready to utilize that community on a bigger level.
It's true. It does become a lot to manage. I mean, we've had things that come in there and I'm like, wow, I don't know how to respond to this. And it's so public. It can be a lot, but I digress. We could talk about community all night, and we still have one more topic. So let's get into building reputation, Jennifer, and a published book's influence.
Yes. Well, I have to say that publishing a book has been one of the best things I have ever done for my brand. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. And finally, one day after a conference, I was driving in my car and I went, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I've learned so much about myself, outside of everything that is actually done for my company or my companies. And I started writing the book about something else and it turned into more of a business book. And it is a business book. But writing a book can open so many doors because when you write a book, you're typically writing on it a certain area, unless you're writing a memoir or something. And it really builds that thought leadership, uh, mentality of you in your space. And that grows the know, like, and trust factor because it builds your credibility. Oh my gosh, you're an author. Automatically, there's credibility that goes with whatever topic it is that you wrote your book about. And that not only opens your doors for speaking abilities, around the country, but it also opens the doors for more clients to wonder what you're about. Also media attention. There's a lot of things and a lot of doors that open up because of publishing a book. And I mean, I chose to publish a book not the traditional way. I chose to not do independent and I chose not to do the big publisher. I went in between and worked with somebody who, is not an independent. I'm not sure exactly what her title is, but she was wonderful and kind of helped me through the process and tried to explain to me what publishing a book could do for me. And it was amazing. It's honestly been an amazing journey. My book published in February and I'm still getting press on it. I'm still showing up in the rankings of Amazon. And if you think about all that, it all builds credibility.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And having a book, it not only builds credibility, like you said, it's more exposure. What about like making money off of it? I hear that it's hard to actually make money off of.
It is. And actually, my publisher, who was wonderful, she's like, if you're going into it to make money, it's not the right decision. Because ultimately, it's not like you're making a lot of money off of the book itself, but you're making money as and I don't want to say an afterthought, but as a why, because of the book.
Expert. Yeah.
What am I trying to say? There's a word I'm trying to go with. I'm just not
As
coming
a
up
thought
with it.
leader, maybe.
Yes.
Thought leader it.
Purpose.
Well, you're making money because of your book. You're not making money from the book. Let's put it that way. So if you're going into it thinking that you're going to become, rich because you're writing a book, that's really not the way to think about it. Go into it with the precipice that you're going to help other people. And that book is going to help you catapult your business to the next level. Is kind of how I see it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel that. And I've heard that too, because I've heard people are like, I thought I'd make more money on this. And I really didn't. Have you ever thought about doing a book? What were you going to say, Jennifer?
Well, and that's why I love the publishing route that I took. Again, it wasn't independent and it wasn't, a big publisher. She was somebody who was in the middle who could do kind of everything and help me and teach me. And that's why I learned so much, because I learned, how I can write and how I should be writing. And I learned stuff like that. And I learned stuff about myself. And because I had her as the intermediary, as my publisher, it changed the whole process for me.
Yeah, that's really awesome. It's nice to have a coach every once in a while to walk us through things like that. Yeah, and just like show us how it's done. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about writing a book, Sophia?
Oh gosh, I have. And I've had a few people reach out about it. I'd probably do the same route, have a coach or someone to help me, but I'm just so swamped right now building my businesses that it just didn't feel the right time in my pipeline. Yeah. But absolutely, like Jennifer said, it's an amazing, like another PR product in a way, or something that's bringing all these intangible benefits from it. And actually, a lot of my clients have books, which is great because it's, again, tied to their personal brand so easily to make so much content from that. It gives them so much more authority right off the bat. So, but if a printed book is too much for people, you can go back to that kind of idea of how do I make a digital lead magnet. So a lot of people are doing ebooks right now. Or, you can make it just a smaller, like a guide on something you went through in your life. Like people have cool stories and they've overcome so many things like a health problem, or, you can make like a short guide for that, almost like a short story of your life, but also sell it. So you can do that, before you go full on writing a book, because I know it's a big project.
And Sophia, I couldn't agree more because, again, we live in a TikTok world and people don't want to read books that are this big, which is why I wrote a smaller book, because I have every intent of doing 3 books. And, if you do the smaller ones, it makes the most amount of sense. And you know what, to your point about, I'm sorry for jumping in here, but I just feel so strongly about this, about you saying, I just don't feel it's the right time. You're going to know. You're going to know and hear when it's time to write that book. It just comes to you and it just feels like the right moment.
Yeah, that must be kind of nerve-wracking too, because you're really putting your whole self out there and your whole story out there.
Oh, yes.
So that takes so much courage. Congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah, you feel very naked after you write a book, I have to say.
I can imagine.
Like, whoa, did I just say that in that book? And now it's out there for everyone to see. I mean, it's on Amazon. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, it must be kind of therapeutic too, because you maybe like look back and reflect on so many things in your life. That would be like a cool journey to go down. Yeah.
It's cathartic, really. It is.
Liberating.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you both for sharing all that excellent topic and inspiration. There might be someone who listens to this even down the road later on podcasts, because we repurpose all of this and put it on all the major podcast episodes, but someone could hear it and be inspired to write a book. And if you do, then maybe reach out to Jennifer. Sounds like she knows a good coach.
I do. I have a really great publisher.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's really great. I really appreciate both of you for sharing all that. But let's get into prizes. So I noticed there were a few people entering and things weren't coming in. I did see multiple registrations for high level. And most of those came in, but then the multiple ones on the hashtag revenue weren't coming in. So I don't want to run it and make sure and not everyone be included. So we can do this manually afterwards. We've done it before. There is one. There were 2, I think. And I think everyone for high level did register. So we can go ahead and give that one away. Let me share my screen and give away the high level prize. All right. So who's it going to be? Oh, it looks like Reveting must have like written the high level in the comments. And I think we were, because it wasn't registering. But Michelle, you were the on that one. And you were registering for like everything, Michelle. So I'm not surprised if you were the one that wins like all of these, because there are some that I can't even run because there's only 1 entry on them. So I'm guessing that that's you, Michelle. There is 1 entry on the Cherry Assistant, so that person won. And we'll check all of this on the back end afterwards. And there's also 1 entry that's appearing for hashtag revenue, but I think there were a few more. So we'll look into that and we'll do a little shuffle, and we will email you and connect you with the prize winners after the episode. But thank you everyone for entering the prizes. That's awesome. And Michelle, congratulations on the high level swag pack. I'm sure you want a lot more than that though.
You need the Oprah. You win a car. You win a car.
Back to school. Where's everyone scrolling tonight? Apparently they must be on TikTok, because we're not on TikTok on this live stream. StreamYard doesn't go live on TikTok. I guess TikTok makes it difficult for third parties. So I could technically set up the phone and have it like recording on me. But then I think there's some compliance issues, because then, I don't know, they're like voice or something. They don't know that they're going to be on that. I guess it would be the guests. But anyway, I digress. But let me make sure that we got to everything. So we still have the guru of the week. So let me make sure we get to every week I sing this. The guru of the week. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so drum roll. I'm gonna take myself to the screen. Jennifer and Sophia, if you could please tell us a little bit about the guru of the week and why everyone watching now or anyone who watches later should go follow these people. I'm gonna pull myself out here and put them on.
Okay. Oh, I think we might be on each other's half. Oh, there we go. Wow, it moved. Amazing. Okay, I guess I'll start. So Corey Warfield, you can go check him out on his LinkedIn. He has over 500,000 followers. He's an amazing expert in this field on how to utilize personal branding to drive 7, 8, 9 figures. And he did it for his own company. So he's been in tech, he has AI. So he's also a new partner of mine with my agency. And we're also putting out a masterclass together soon, which is really exciting. But yeah, really just teaching people how to leverage LinkedIn. He's also a LinkedIn coach. So I've learned so much from him as well. And he's really just a guru in the space. So I highly recommend you go and check out his profile. He's a really awesome guy too, which is always a plus.
And for me, it's Candace Nelson, and her claim to fame is Sprinkles Cupcakes. And I have followed her for a long time. She is now on Shark Tank, and she partnered with someone else to do another franchise because I believe she sold Sprinkles Cupcakes, and now she is working on another franchise for pizza. But if you follow her on LinkedIn, she has just very inspirational messages, and she shares her journey along the way. And it's just very inspirational, especially to women entrepreneurs, to follow her, listen to her. She has a really great message.
That's awesome. Yeah, we definitely have that like women entrepreneur vibe tonight. So I can definitely appreciate that. And thank you both for sharing your gurus of the week. And everyone should go follow some new people, get some new content in your feed. Otherwise, the algorithm will just keep showing you the same stuff. But before we leave, could you both please tell the audience how they could reach you after the show, and also like a little bit about who you help and how you could help them, and then how they can reach you. We'll start with you, Sophia.
Yes, well, you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. I'm probably the most active on that platform, but also Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can email us at hello@wakagrowth.com. You can check out our website, www.wakagrowth.com. But if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll probably see everything there. And we help people, visionary leaders, to establish their personal brands, and we do social media done for you.
That's so cool. Thank you so much. And then how about you, Jennifer?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and it's Jennifer Ann Johnson. And you can also find me anywhere you get your podcasts. The name of my podcast is The Confident Entrepreneur. And I help small business owners elevate their businesses. I help them with everything from marketing to mindset to branding and business to the next level. And check me out again on any of those social media platforms, my podcast, and then you can get my book on Amazon.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if it was just me, but something weird just happened with your like mic. It was like, did you hear that, Sophia?
I did, yes.
Just for a quick second. I was like, whoa, it was like some wind or something, but
there's no wind here, but I don't know.
Yes, well, I believed you there, but it was probably some sort of technical issue. But I digress. That's the end of the show. Thank you both again for coming on. We'll send you the winner's details, post-production, along with other materials. But other than that, everyone watching, I hope you have a great night. And until next week, we hope that you have a safe week and a productive week as well. So I'm going to close this out here. Bye, everyone.
You know who made it.